Hello, people of the internet. My name is Vaatia. And I finally got my sketchbooks for the year. Because it's definitely not too late in the year to start a new sketchbook or anything. I had to go drive over to Barnes & Nobles a couple weeks ago to go get my sketchbooks because the closest art store to me is like a good couple cities away from me. I got my sketchbooks, some really bitchy bookmarks, and a Barnes & Noble membership because I thought it would make things turn out cheaper. I ended up spending $60 total. I'm excited to finally crack into some new sketchbooks because I was at the end of my old sketchbooks pages clinging on for dear life. Feels good to start over on nice new clean pages. I hope I can keep them as clean as they were when I first bought them. I've been stacking them neatly on top of each other to keep them crisp and everything else. I'm low-key scared to draw on them, but Mama's gonna make some art, you know? So I bought these 3 sketchbooks for myself. And I plan to use each sketchbook for different things. Let's start with the first one. The first one is the one that I'm drawing in right now. I couldn't wait long enough to draw the rough line art on film. The moment I got my 3 books, I knew I just had to start filling these bad boys with drawings. The one I'm using right now is the brown sketchbook. This brown has been pretty good for me so far. In fact, I have a bunch more like this already in the good old sketchbook stack. The sketchbook is really good, especially the paper. The only problem I can complain about is that the cover of it is kind of boring, which is why I'm trying to lean towards buying more sketchbooks with designs on them. I don't want to have a bunch of similar sketchbooks sitting around and I can't tell which one is which. Another idea I've seen around the internet that I really want to try to do is to try to decorate the front cover with like little cute self-made stickers. Or maybe little charms or whatever. Ooh, that can be a good idea for a video. I need to write that down. But yeah, that's something I want to do in the near future. Also, this is a sketchbook I plan to use the most for future videos. The second sketchbook I bought was this really pretty pink floral pattern one with the word sketchbook etched in the middle in gold. Really just a beautiful and meaningful message right there. Really inspired my soul down to its very core. This sketchbook is going to be for my more detailed pieces, like watercolor paintings for example. Nowadays, I usually stick to digital art more than drawing on paper because I always felt like I was a stronger animator instead of an artist. And I always neglected my artist side when it came to finishing work with actual backgrounds and shading because I was too involved in focusing on animation. But now, I want to start to change that. I definitely am going to start watercolor painting more, and hopefully I'm going to fill my sketchbooks before the year is out. And finally, for our third one is the same brand as the brown one. It is a plain old black sketchbook, except for this one's coils are above it instead of on the side. This one is just going to be my personal sketchbook. I need to store my jumbled mess of notes somewhere. Hopefully these books get me through the year, because using stray printer paper to sketch was just the worst. I do not know how I did this when I was younger. I have a whole case full of old art that I recently had to spend a long amount of time organizing through so I could just store it away neatly. I even have a pile of old childhood sketchbooks lined up on my bookshelf filled with all my crazy nonsensical sketches. Ooh, I don't think any of those books can see the light of day. Recently, I've been buckling down and trying to finish up the prologue of my project. I've been making really good progress on it, and that's mostly because of me thankfully being in a good enough financial place to where I can work on this project at home full time. For the last 6 months, I've been working at a certain burger joint full time every day to save up enough money so I could afford to pay the bills and be a full-time animator. I quit my job back in January, and right now I'm doing fine money-wise and all, but I definitely have been spending a lot more than I initially thought I would. It's definitely been an eye-opener about organizing myself and making a budget, because, example, and don't you guys judge me, for example, Every day in the mornings, I would wake up, get out of bed, and I would just crave for a large coffee and a breakfast sandwich. And I'm not talking about cooking either. Every other day, I would pull up to the local drive-thru and get my usual order. The same coffee with the same amount of cream and sugar. I had it bad, you guys. Buying fast food every day really put a drain on my wallet. And probably my health too, but who cares about that stuff? And it's probably one of the main contributors to my dwindling life funds. I want to blame it all on the fact that I worked and ate at a fast food restaurant for the last 6 months, and that was the only diet that I was used to. But in reality, it's probably just because I'm a little fatty. But thankfully now I'm on a better track. Now I only occasionally buy fast food when I'm weak and give in. I'm doing much better now that I cook on my own breakfast, even though I overcook it sometimes. Working on this project has definitely been a learning process for me. I'm not an art school student, and I'm definitely no industry professional animator. I'm just a normal amateur animator trying to improve at what I do best. Right now, one big fantasy is a one-man project run by me. Of course, hopefully one day I won't be able to say that anymore. There's definitely benefits from working independently, but there's also been some downsides too. I love that I have full control of my story and that there's a good enough platform where I can put it out there for the world to see and enjoy. I'll always love that. The freedom of working independently, and it also feels great to not have any restrictions on my art. I know it may be the case if you go work at an industry job and you're most likely not going to be able to express that certain amount of creativity and decision making when it comes to working on someone else's project. I've always been more of an artist who's strayed towards stuff that I'm passionate about, so working on other people's stuff doesn't quite work out for me personally. But don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of great artists out there that still work industry jobs and they still do their own passion projects at the same time. And to me that just is amazing. I don't know how they do that, but one of the major downsides of working on my project by myself is that, well, I'm by myself. It's really hard to keep motivated on a project when you're literally the only one excited for it. My relatives don't know anything about digital art, so it's not like I can really get help from them about how to draw a hand correctly. The only advice I can get from my family is that I should work at Pixar. Like, that's the only animation company that exists. Okay. Another problem I have with being a one-man band means I can't work as fast as an army of animators can. I get so stressed out pulling my hair out over not being able to finish enough animation in time, but I still have to accept the fact that I'm not going to be able to upload 10-minute episodes weekly like most animation studios might be able to. Unless 2020 becomes the year scientists figure out the key to cloning humans. For this channel, I actually have some good ideas brewing. Like I said in my previous videos that I trust you've watched every single second of, this is an art channel, so I have a ton of art related things I want to try out here. There's definitely a lot of good art challenges out there that I can do, and other fun artist trends, so you'll possibly be seeing some of those in the near future. I was also thinking about doing reviews on some of the more popular animated TV shows out there. Surprisingly, there's a lot of underrated animated stuff out there that I personally feel like it could get more love and recognition. So be sure to tell me what you guys think I should talk about in the comments down below. If you'd like to follow my social media, then the links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with a video next week, so be sure to subscribe to keep up with the channel. Until then, see you guys next week. Bye!